Hi, everybody. This is Russell with Community Financials, nationwide provider of accounting services for homeowner associations and condo communities. And today I'm talking with Megan Wojtek from Vantaca Software. She's going to talk to us about their portal for homeowners and boards. And we're going to go a little bit more in depth about the functionality there. And not so much the back end, but we'll talk about how this would integrate with the back end. And if you're a board member that needs to kind of action items that come through the portal, then you'd need to go in and log into the back end as well, like most softwares. So Megan, why don't you take us away?
Do my thing. That's perfect. So I have gone ahead and shared my screen, and there are two areas that I'm really going to show you. Most of the time we'll be looking at the portal space. And that's the area that I really think as board members, you'll really work within. But before I do that, I want you to gain an understanding of where the things that you're working on in the portal kind of land inside the back end of the system. So what you're looking at right now, this is the Vantaca dashboard. And this is typically where a management company, or if you're a self-managed community, this is where you may come in and complete some of those tasks. But this dashboard really shows two specific areas that Vantaca loves to highlight throughout the whole system. One of those being communication, and the second item being action items or workflow. So Vantaca was really built with the idea that the system can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you rather than you having to go in and be a button pusher. So it's the whole concept of working smarter and not harder. So on this top section here, this is where we have our unread messages. Unread messages are going to act very similar to an Outlook or a Gmail type inbox. So anytime the management company or the self-managed community is creating messages and sending them to an outside party, whenever someone replies to those messages, they're going to end up in this unread message space. So it becomes a very smart place for your communications to be held and archived for future purposes. Now, the second section is action items. And action items are a really big concept, and really at Vantaca, we kind of live and breathe action items all day long. But what are action items? You know, on the accounting side, it can be things like 1099s, financial production, homeowners asking billing questions, statements, anything like that. If you're a self-managed community and you're more on the managing side of those processes, it could be things like violations, work orders, architectural requests. So all of those different things, you are going to turn those into an action item type format. Action items consist of steps, and then each of those steps will have rules associated with them, and the rules help dictate exactly how these things flow through the system. So for you as board members, what that workflow means is what are the things that I am going to be receiving on the portal that I can then decision and move through that process. So that's just a little bit of the background on the why of Vantaca. So let me actually now take you to the portal space so you are able to review the area that you would be working within most of the time. So this is the Vantaca portal. I'm logged in as John Jones. He happens to be an owner and a board member. So he's got two different areas of the system that he's able to look at. This top section is specific to his unit. And then this bottom section under board actions, you can see I have a ton of different options here. Those are all of the board items that he would be able to complete right within the Vantaca portal. Now, something that I will mention, if you are in a community where you own multiple units, we actually give you the ability to merge your units together and have a single sign-on to the portal space. That way you don't have to have multiple logins for all of those different units that you own. So it makes the payment processing much simpler, running reports on your own units. All that information just becomes a lot easier, and you don't have to go through community financials, or as a homeowner who's not on the board, they don't have to ask the board members for those types of things. So that's just a little bit of a background for you. I'm going to start at the top and we'll work our way all the way down to the bottom. And I love this portal because it is super, super simple to use. Just starting on the dashboard, this is an overview of what is going on this specific unit. And again, if you're a board member, it also shows you the board tasks that need to be completed. So I can see what my balance is. I can see my tasks. I can also see any of my open action items that are available on my account. Contact info. This is where you are able to go in and update any of your contact information. Pretty self-explanatory. All of this will update in Vantaca in real time. And it will also note when any changes are being made. So if a homeowner went in and updated their phone number or changed their communication preference, anything like that, you will be able to see those changes that were made right inside Vantaca. The billing section. Now, I have a lot of different sub-accounts and things like that. Yours probably will never look this complicated. You may just have one little line item that you need to pay. You can see I have auto draft, e-check. There are also credit card options. I just don't have them turned on in my portal. But within all of these spaces, depending on who you're banking with or who your online payment provider is, when you hit auto draft or e-check, those types of things, it will just populate within the same screen your bank's information. Some of those banks do have a single sign-on. Some of them you may have to log in with again. But again, a very simple process to make those payments. Now, what I really love about the billing section is this bottom half, the ability to download your own statement. If you did ever lose a statement or something like that, you know, we're all bound to do it. You can come in, you can hit that download statement option, and you can go ahead and print a statement with a coupon. That way you're saving, as a homeowner, you're saving the board members' time or you're saving Community Financial's time. So that's what the statement looks like. Ours is super messy. It looks like I have a naughty homeowner who's getting a daily fine for fences not being fixed. Let's see, moving along here, my items. Now remember what those action items are. It's really anything that's going to flow through the association on a daily basis. Your homeowners are going to have real-time access to the action items that are affecting their unit. So if I was a homeowner and I submitted a work order request, or I have an architectural outstanding or anything along those lines, as a homeowner, I can go in and I can click on any of those items and I'm able to see all of the communication that has gone back and forth. I can review emails that I was sent. If there were any attachments, I would also be able to grab those. What I really like about this space is that the communication piece is built in. So I can send a message to board members, to a manager, to the accounting team, anything like that. And as soon as I hit send, it will actually send that message right within Vantaca, and it can also send an email from right here. So you're saving your homeowners time from having to go to their Gmail or Outlook or whatever that account may be. Now, also within my items, we have this submit a request option. Now, we don't need to go into too much detail on each of these, but you can see that we have built-in reservation requests, architectural requests. General request is a really good one because it's very open-ended. So you can have things in here like, I have a billing question, or I need a fee waived, or something like that. And those types of items end up inside Vantaca with the appropriate person who's responsible for them. So in this case, it would send right over to the Community Financials team, and they would be able to, complete those specific tasks right within Vantaca. So you're just saving a middleman is really what's happening. I've always loved that.
Yes.
Calendar and events, we do have those types of things built into here as well. So, things like ordering pizza once a month is very important. You can build those in, see things like when the next board meeting is, anything like that. We do have an association directory in here. Pretty self-explanatory again. And then we do have association documents. Now these are all searchable. And again, you can already tell, you can set this up the way that you want, but if, I'm a homeowner and I'm looking for my architectural request form, I can hit that ARC option and boom, there's everything with the term ARC in it. Now, this is the area that you really want to see, all of the board sections. So all of that I just showed really has an effect on you as a homeowner and then your fellow neighbors. But the board area is phenomenal. There is so much that can be done in here. Russell, did you have a question?
Nope.
No, you're good. Okay.
Learn more.
So I can really make this as simplified as possible. I will just tell you each of these options that you see here, we don't have to go into every single one because they're exactly the same. They're really just real-time reports that you're able to communicate on amongst each other, and then back with either a management company or community financials. So
let's take a look at collections.
You want to look at collections?
And then board action items.
Perfect.
And, reports and bank accounts.
Perfect. I will do that. So let's go right into the collection area. So something that I always like to point out in here is that the system gives approval capability in every single one of those areas for board members. So if for some reason there's a board that's like, I want to approve every single collection before it goes, I don't know, to the homeowner, most of the time it's like to the attorney or something like that. You can build that into the process. It can push onto the portal automatically and they can have approval capability right within here. Of course, I'm not an approver on the collections in this area, but it would be under this action area and it's just an approve or decline option and they can add notes. So this is really cool. This whole screen, just so you know, you can kind of build the columns the way that you want. And then you can always go back and see historical data in here. I'm going to go ahead and just drill into this top one. It's showing that homeowners on a payment plan. But I can see exactly where everything lies. I can grab the little attachment and it should show me a letter and a statement that went out. So, and it looks like this is just demo purposes. We just attached a balance sheet to it, but all of that information will be shown right here. Now, what can happen is if I'm a board member and I want to communicate with my fellow board members or back with whoever is managing this process, I can type those messages in here. And again, as soon as I send those, they're going to end up with the appropriate individual. So you're just saving time from having to exit this area and go somewhere else to complete the same thing. Another one, I know you wanted me to skip down to the board actions. I do want to show you this homeowner space because I think this is really good for board members to see. Right. If board members are ever curious about homeowner balances, this area would show that. They can click within a specific unit and they can go right to that homeowner's transaction summary. So they're getting real-time access to the homeowner's ledger. Can't do anything with it. It's just view only, but it's available.
That's great.
So skipping down to board actions. This is just a list of all of the things that I need to complete as a board member. So it's trying to keep it in a nice organized fashion.
So this is a roll up of like all of the work orders, violations, ARCs.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can click on any of those items. I can send messages. I can view them further. So it's pretty user friendly as far as I don't know, being able to complete things. So pretty cool stuff. You could see here, fee waiver requests, inspections, just regular tasks that I'm responsible for.
And you can show that you can complete it or?
It is, you know what? It's actually, in this case, it's kind of silly. It's completed when I send a message. So if I send a message back to the manager, I don't know, this is done, I approve. Once I send that message, it actually is completing that task at that point in time. So it removes it from your queue.
Okay, cool.
And then the next thing, let's look at reports. Now, this, I have every single report turned on here, but you can kind of pick and choose which reports you want to be able to run, because it can be a pretty extensive list.
Right.
So let's just go ahead. If I wanted to see like an AR aging right as of, this moment, I can go ahead and grab that. And this is just an example of what that report may look like. And mine is, I've got a lot in my demo database. Everybody is late. And then some configuration options over to the right-hand side. Now, I love a lot of our reports because they're drillable. So if you're looking at this and I don't know, you wanted to know who those 31 homeowners are who are late on their assessment, you can click on that and it will just populate those 31 homeowners for you.
Great.
So pretty good stuff there.
Yeah.
And then the last thing to touch on is the bank account. With those banks, we give you real-time access that is read only, just as a safety piece, where you're able to go in and look at this as if it were online banking. So you don't have to log into the bank separately. And this shows everything that's going on with the bank. It would show clear AP check images. You can see when the bank item was reconciled. So all of that is available really, at your fingertips.
Excellent. I like that.
That's the portal.
Yeah.
So
great.
pretty simple.
And then what's the examples of, if I guess it would be like a work order or something else, in order to action those, that's when somebody would have to get access to the back end software.
I really think it depends on the needs of the association, because in some cases, if the homeowner were to go into their submit a request space, and if they went into this general request and maybe they had a service request option, whoever this is sent to can be configurable. So if it needed to go to, maybe it did just need to go to the board. And from there, they wanted to approve it. It could actually go directly to the board and they could do something with it in their work order space. I think they would likely want access to the back end of the system because they're able to see a lot more information on service providers, who those things went to, time frames. I think it's just easier searched in the back end of the system, but it really depends on their preferences. There are a lot of different options.
Yeah, great, because oftentimes people don't want to have multiple logins,
right?
To just go to one place. So it's sort of that balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Well, this has been helpful. Is there anything else you wanted to show on these two, or?
No, I think this for board members and homeowners, this is probably the best space for them to look at. It is very, very comprehensive and offers a lot of transparency. I think that's what makes it so special.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Megan. We appreciate your time today in showing our viewers the portals for Vantaca and going in depth on them. Thanks so much.
No problem.